Thokozani bomkhulu nogogo. Sanibonani nonke. Good morning. Hello. Absheni. Botani molweni. Siyanibingelela sonke siyanamukela namhlanje on the 13th of September. Umhla ka-13 kwinyanga kaMandulo. Welcome to Ikhambi Healing, Natural Healing. Ikhambi Natural Healing. Ngicela ukuthi ngi-hand over to umkhulu Menzi so we can start with our breathing. Mkhulu.
Siyanibingelela nonke, greetings to everyone in the world from Ikhambi Natural Healing. Siyanibingelela to this session, which is the hygiene session. We're going to be speaking about various ways on how to keep clean, both physically, spiritually, and mentally. So we're going to start with the breathing meditation. It's not a breathing exercise, it's just a breathing meditation, which goes like this. Please follow my instruction. It's going to be very easy and basic. Whether you are seated or lying down or standing, what you will have to do, we're going to take deep breaths in. I'm going to tell you to do 3 breaths in. And when you do your breathing in, you have to expand your stomach. Breathe into your whole body, into your chest and into your stomach. So as you breathe in, you push your shoulders back, and you push, and then you breathe out, and your shoulders fall to their normal position. So let's do that, and I'm going to instruct you on the rest going forward. It's just going to be very quick. So we start. Take a deep breath in, push your shoulders back, feel your stomach, and let go. Take a deep breath in, let go. Take the last one in, hold, and out. And then the next breath, you're going to raise your hands up. Breathe in and out to your chest, hands to your chest in prayer position. And breathe in, air all the way to your stomach, through your nose, hold, and out through your mouth, back to your stomach. I'm going to take one last one, the deeper one, in, feel it going through your back, the pressure in your back and your stomach, and let go. The last breath we're going to take is we're going to breathe out all the pressure and all the tension out of our body and our mind. So take a deep breath in and raise your arms up. Deep breath in. Clasp your arms like this. And then take another breath in. And then you let go. So we are done with the breathing exercise for now. We are going to go into our healer's pledge. Isivumelwano sabelaphi. Sivumelana ngokuthi sizophathana kanjani, sizoqhubeka kanjani ngomsebenzi esiwenzayo in all our mediums. Whether it's a person-to-person medium or whether it's an electronic medium. So our healer's pledge, if it could be a little bit bigger, so I can read it properly.
Okay.
We are reading it together. We recite it together. I recite the words when I finish. You recite after me, please. It should be a bit bigger, please. I can't enlarge it. Okay, there it is. It is okay now. So the healer's pledge goes like this. It's a code of conduct for the group Ikhambi Natural Healing. So Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
We are healers.
We owe our gifts to nature, our ancestors, and our creators.
We owe
our gifts to nature,
our ancestors, and our creators.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Hunu, Ubuntu.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Hunu, Ubuntu.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will
approach
We
each
will
other
approach each other
with
with
respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will offer our advice, prescriptions, and ideas with trust.
We will
offer our advice, prescriptions,
and ideas with trust.
ideas with trust.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will
We
neither
will neither
insult,
dishonor,
nor
insult, nor abuse one another.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural healing.
We
will
will
share,
practice,
promote, and raise awareness about
natural
natural
healing.
healing.
Healthy lifestyles and well-being.
Healthy lifestyles and well-being.
Well-being.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from
from
posting
negative information.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information and falsehood.
We will refrain from
posting
irrelevant information.
Singabelapi, we are healers.
Singabelapi,
We are healers.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
Our gifts are a gift to
Our gifts are a
humanity
gift to
and nature.
humanity and nature.
We will give back to nature what she has abundantly given us.
We will give back to nature what she has abundantly given us.
Siyathokoza. Ashe,
Give thanks.
sesingaqala ke. Hand over to Mhleli, Linda, for the medical disclaimer.
Thokozani bomkhulu, thokozani bogogo. Welcome once more. I'm going to read the medical disclaimer. It is very important for us to be aware of it and to take cognizance of it at all times, in line with the pledge which we have just taken. The medical disclaimer goes as follows, or reads as follows. Information is for educational and informational purposes only and may not be construed as medical advice. The information is not intended to replace medical advice or treatment offered by healthcare professionals. I'm going to go ahead and explain our logo as well so that we all understand what it means and the elements that it incorporates, because it's internal. The healing that we are talking about is holistic, and therefore we need to understand where that comes from and how it pertains to us. You will see on your screen now the green part of the tree, which represents as above. And you will see the black part of the tree, which is the root, which represents as below. This follows the injunction by Jehuti, as above, so below. What you see on your screen now is the pyramid, or the per-a, as our ancestors originally called it, and it is the connector. This is the structure that they used to connect. As above, so is below. So when you transcend and your body then, your body is transcending, you are now deceased, your body remains on earth, your spirit then transcends and moves into the upper realm, and the pyramid then connects. It also connects in various other ways, which I would encourage you to read upon, because it's very interesting, and I'm sure you'll find it interesting because it is also the power generator. So it's not only just a tomb in certain instances as it has been publicized, but it is also a power generator, and you can read up on that and understand how exactly did our ancestors generate power. And we have the sun, and the sun, Atum Ra, the sun is the rejuvenator. Everything is given life by the sun. as you see, we are starting now the period of spring. We're entering into spring. And as we enter into spring, imvelo starts changing. It starts greening. The leaves starts greening. The grass starts growing. So yonke into isiyaqala iyakhula. And we thank that to the sun, because it is the sun which makes this possible. So you will have our logo there, Ikhambi Natural Healing. Now you understand what the logo actually entails. We call Ikhambi Natural Healing I.N.Healing for short, because it is internal. It is in healing. We are healing ourselves internally in every possible way that you can think of. And we have Ujehuti holding two staffs which bear the crowns of the upper and the crown of upper and the crown of lower Kemet. Ujehuti is the keeper of all ancient knowledge, or the Akashic record. He's the keeper of the knowledge of the past and present. So that is the importance of having Ujehuti La, because he is the one who keeps our knowledge and from whom we draw inspiration to be able to perform this session. He who does not know has the opportunity to know. And this is important because this is exactly why we are here, because he who does not know has the opportunity to know, and that includes ourselves. So we are in no way suggesting that we are experts in anything. We are all in this journey to learn together, and it would be therefore important to we share the knowledge, we share what we know. We have this platform which exactly represents that. He who does not know has the opportunity to know. And then we have Umaat. Umaat is the deity who represents order and balance. You can see she's carrying the scales, and on the scales there is a heart on the one side, on her right side, which would be on your left as you're looking at it, and there is a feather on the other scale, which is on her left-hand side, which is your right side as you're looking at it. And what that means is order and justice, to balance your heart against the feather. Is your heart as light as the feather? That's the question. And it's an internal journey that we are talking about. So with that, I think we can start our hygiene series. Isihloko ke sethu sokuqala is personal hygiene. Gogo, may I hand over to you? Nelly and Nkosi.
Thokozani, bantu abadala, thokozani, bantwana bedlozi, thokozani, beloveds, thokozani, healers. Welcome to Ikhambi. So for today's session, it's personal hygiene, as Omkhulu achazile. So why personal hygiene? So please do follow our page. It can be Natural Healing. It can be on all our on all social media platforms, which is YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, where you will find our videos. So why hygiene? We did the hygiene series because we are spirit beings having a human experience, and while we are doing that, these are our homes. We have the body, the earth, and the mind. So we need to take care of them. That's why we're doing the hygiene series. And for today's session, we are doing personal hygiene, because there are so many people that suffer on all different types of diseases. This includes skin, personal hygiene issues, and these people, they suffer in silence. So just to almost provide aids to everybody that suffers in silence in personal hygiene issues. So we will speak on the skin, we will speak on oral health, we will speak on oral odor, and we'll speak on body odor, and we will speak on, yes, the feet, and we will speak on the hair, dandruff, and then we will speak on lice, and then so there are herbs. This one will be covered during the womb healing session. We will go into depth during the womb healing session, but you will note that some of these herbs do also cater for vaginal hygiene as well. So just before we get on to the new herbs that we will learn today, I just wanted us to recap on some of the herbs that we did previously, just to bring them into context and remind ourselves of the herbs that we had learned previously, that also help with hygiene. For more details on these herbs, I'm not going to go into details with these herbs. For more details on these herbs, please do check out our YouTube videos to find out more about the chemical composition, as well as their other names, as well as their other uses besides for hygiene purposes. So the first herb that we're going to recap on is the peppermint. Peppermint is also called the mentha, and it's related to rosemary, and it is used for clearing foul taste and clearing bad mouth odor. So you would dilute the tincture, the peppermint tincture, with water, and then you would use that. So the next herb is aloe vera. We covered aloe vera during the last session. Aloe vera is very good for skin treatment. It soothes burns, wounds, skin irritation, and helps with the healing process. And then the next, so you would also apply gently on the wound, as we had discussed before, and then let it dry, and then to rapidly heal the damaged tissue. We also can use aloe vera for oral hygiene as well, and then it helps prevent decay and gum diseases, and is also helpful in treating sores and canker sores. You can also use it as a mouth rinse, like regularly, or as a mouth rinse. Just be careful when you use aloe vera, as it is a laxative. Just check out the video on YouTube just to see what we mean by that, because we went into details by that. It's a very strong laxative, so you must be very careful when using aloe vera. You can also use it for skin treatment, and so you would then apply it topically, and then to slow down aging, as well as improve moisture and slow down the aging process. The next herb, cannabis, marijuana, Mary Jane, depending on how you want to call it. So Mary Jane contains cannabis, chemicals called cannabinoids. So cannabinoids can be used for, the cannabis oil can be used for hair treatment, as it is essential for promoting hair growth, good hair treatment, or hair growth, as well as strengthening hair. So for skin treatment, can you please mute your sound? So we have skin treatment. Cannabis can also be used for skin treatment. So how you would so it's good, it's skin treatment in that it is good for treating acne that has been caused by dead skin cells, dirt, or excess oil. And it is also good for treatment of dry skin. It is also a skin rejuvenator, like our aloe friend. And it's also good at treating mild skin irritation. For more details, so we went.
Apologies. For some reason, all my volumes are high. I'm on 2 devices. They on max, but you very soft. I don't know. Maybe can you try to just speak a little bit louder? I don't know. Today you sound very soft for me.
Can you hear me better now?
Okay, I'll try. It still sounds soft, but try to shout where you are. Thank you, Nkosi.
So then, okay, I'll try and speak a bit louder. So cannabis can be used as it can be used to treat mild skin irritation. Yeah, so that is that about cannabis. So you can catch the previous video where we had an in-depth discussion, although it wasn't really that in-depth, but just to gain insight in terms of what cannabis can also be used for, please do check out our previous sessions on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So the next herb that we dealt with previously that is also good for hygiene purposes is thyme. So thyme is part of the mint family, like lemon balm and rosemary. So thyme for oral hygiene is very good for oral hygiene, and also it can be used to treat thrush in relations to oral hygiene. So you would use the alcohol-based tincture and you would mix it with water. So thyme, as we had discussed previously, it's very strong, so you do not want to use it undiluted. So yeah, yes. And then you can also use it for treatment of gingivitis. So then you would mix the thyme oil with water. As mentioned earlier, it's very potent, so you would not want to use thyme as is, because it's all the plants in the mint family are quite potent. So ideally we do recommend that you mix them if you are using them as a tincture. So you would want to dilute them either you would want to dilute them
Thokozani Nkosi, we seem to be having a technical error at this point. Umakosi network yakhe has cut off, but she will be back shortly. Please bear with us.
Maybe at the moment we can open for a few questions if people have a little bit of some questions about what she's already spoken about while we wait.
Yes.
Are there any questions from anybody, both participants and viewers? Emakaya.
Okay, just bear with us. She is trying to reconnect Nkosi. The technology will report.
I'll just make a comment, It's interesting that how we are speaking about marijuana in terms of hygiene and cleanliness, whereby the colonial situation has told us that people who use marijuana are basically dirty. So we are learning the opposite. We are inverting the pyramid right now.
Indeed, it's the case. We have been struggling for many years with law enforcement agencies all over the world with respect to cannabis. And when you look at the amount of properties that cannabis has, one must wonder, why is it that we were being turned away from this? Is it a political play? Was it to sabotage us? What was the agenda behind? Because right now, cannabis has so many properties that are beneficial to all of us. And even as we speak, we have challenges in terms of the bill that is being presented in South Africa, that is up for discussion at this point, because cannabis is now going to be, in a sense, restricted. So on the one hand, they say, yes, you now have it for free. And on the other hand, they are now putting restrictions in place, which then means, but it puts you back into the very same position or a similar position. So we are trying to come out of that. But I think that with everybody's participation, particularly where the bill is concerned, we might make headway so that we're able to utilize cannabis and harness its properties.
Indeed. Just wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
There's this question also that Aranza raised on the group, which is very important. The question of normalization. See, there's three positions. There's one which is most people don't speak about, normalization. And then there's the question of decriminalization, and there's the question of legalization. They're not the same.
Thokozani, Bantabadala, I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. I just dropped off.
Now we were talking about Intango as you were away. The fact that it's usually spoken about. It was the usual narrative was that Abadabasabinsa Intango are people who are dirty. It's a dirty herb. It's a drug and all that. So it seems now we are telling an alternative story, a story which we feel has always been there amongst many indigenous peoples, but now it's coming back again. So. And there's many ways that you can use it beyond just your hair. You know, people are selling it. You go to Sentin, you go to different kind of big malls. You find there is a shop dealing with cannabis extracts. Yet the people on the ground are still being arrested for using it. But you can continue, Marcos.
Here we were, yes. So the next herb that we were covering was Impepo. Impepo is an anti-inflammatory agent, and it is an antibacterial, and it is an antifungal. It's an antifungal agent. So Impepo is very good at treating skin. So it can be used as a wash to clear the skin or rash for rash or spots. It can also help decrease stretch marks or scars, the appearance of stretch marks and scars. And it can also be used as a wash if you've got a body odor, or as a steam bath if you've got body odor issues. It's very good in terms of helping treating that. So the next one is lavender, our friend lavender. So lavender contains antibacterial agents and antifungal agents. It can be applied topically or prepared as a wash. It's like a disinfectant, so you can use it topically or use it as a wash for wounds, mild skin irritations as well. So then we move on to sage. So our good friend sage it's an antioxidant and with anti-inflammatory properties, and it's good for skin treatment. The ointments, so you can use it as to reduce sunburn. So if you've got the redness caused by sunburn, you can use the oils to reduce sunburn. And we've got then our good friend onion. We've spoken a lot about onion. It has many different uses, and one of them being for hygiene purposes. So onion is it's the common name, it's the common onion. It's also known as Alisium cepa. It's related to garlic and celery. So it can be used for skin treatment, as when you apply the oil or gel containing onion extracts, it can reduce the appearance of stretch marks and scars. I'm sure we all need that. So here it is, Nkosi, in terms of what we have in our medical cabinet as we start off the hygiene series. This is what we currently have and what we've previously discussed or on our previous sessions as it relates to hygiene, just to bring everything into context. And we continue. So yeah. So the next herb that we are featuring for today that we will be adding onto our hygiene cabinet is Azaracta indica. So Azaracta indica is part of the Meliaceae family, which is also known as the mahogany family. It mainly grows in tropical and subtropical regions, and it is also referred to as the neem tree. So this is how it looks like. So it has antifungal, it contains antifungal, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory agents. So how does the neem tree relate in terms of our hygiene uses? So it's very good for the skin, you know. Neem tree is very good for the skin. It can be used for the treatment of skin ulcers, wounds, dark spots, acne, scaly, and itchy skin. So the part that can be used for that purpose. So when you look at the neem tree, so all the parts of the neem tree is one of those rare trees that all the parts of the neem tree can be used for medicinal purposes. This includes the bark, the leaves, the twigs, as well as the fruit in itself. So for today, in terms of skin treatment, the part that will be used is the leaves. So you can use it as a paste as well. So it's also a skin rejuvenator when you want to keep your skin firm, as well as slow down the aging process. So you would generally use it as a paste and apply it on your skin to reduce the, to treat the skin for ulcers and all the other ailments that we just mentioned. Or you would also use it as a tonic. So when you use it as a tonic, you would use it on as a sponge. So you put it on cotton and then apply it on the skin. So neem can also be used for treatment for oral hygiene. So it is good for treatment of plaque and gingivitis. And the part used for that is the leaves and the twigs. So the neem tree grows mainly in tropical regions, and some of the areas where it grows in is here in Africa as well as India. So in India, you would normally see people chewing on the twigs. That is actually part of the neem tree twigs. So they generally do that just to clean their mouths. Oh yeah, like you would when you're brushing your teeth, you know. So okay, so it can also be used to treat dandruff. And the part used for that is the leaves. So you would boil the neem leaves till the water turns green, wash your hair, and after the water has cooled. So that's what you would do. So you would boil the neem tree. So I don't know if you still remember when we discussed preparation methods, is that when you boil, whenever you try to prepare herbs, you try to use as little heat as possible, and little heat as possible, so you have to be very patient. So you boil the neem tree leaves until the water turns green, and then you use that water to wash your hair once it has cooled. The neem tree oil, as it relates to hair, it promotes, it strengthens your hair and promotes hair growth. And it can also be used for treatment of lice. Yes. So the part that would be used for that purpose is the leaves, and it can be used as a wash. So you prepare it as a wash, or you prepare it as a shampoo. So you can also use it to treat your feet, you know, and to treat like toenail fungus. So the part that would be used for that purpose is the leaves. So you would apply the neem tree paste on the affected toe. Sorry. So you'd apply the the paste, the neem tree paste on the affected area until it's it is until you have healed. So what are some of the things that you need to be cautious of when you are using a neem tree? So neem tree, because of its properties, it lowers your insulin levels. Some people have used it for treatment of diabetes. So it lowers insulin levels. So when you ingest neem tree, you must be very cautious of that. And it lowers fertility and may in some instances cause an abortion for pregnant women when ingested. You should not take it before surgery, as then it creates a problem in your physicians or whoever will be performing that surgery in terms of them controlling your blood sugar levels during surgery. People who need to avoid neem tree are people who suffer from lupus, multiple sclerosis, and people who suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. Avoid drinking neem for longer than 2 weeks without a consultation. Okay, and there you have it, Nkosi. That is our discussion on the neem tree. Do we have any questions?
Thokozani Nkosi. Let me go through the. Sorry, Coco. Are you ready for me to go?
No, I was asking Guti, do we have any questions, not just to you, Nkosi, but to the people who are in attendance?
So far, there aren't any questions, Nkosi. I got distracted trying to go through to the YouTube page, but there aren't any questions on, sorry, not the YouTube, the Facebook page. We don't have any questions on Facebook yet. And we don't have any questions here. No questions, no comments, except to on here on our chats. Ugogo Ritabile was commenting on the cannabis, saying that political and pharmaceutical what? It's the medicinal answer to all diseases. I was extremely verbal with my, verbal with my 2-liter flask in hospital to the specialist physician, specialist surgeon, anesthetist, and making them aware whatever treatment I was given should be aligned to the herb. So she went ahead with the herb and taken it with her to hospital so that she can also partake in terms of the holistic treatment or holistic healing, which is what we are about.
Can I just comment on that, Nkosi? Gogo Ritabile.
Gogo.
You know what, ne? We spoke about this, you know. We spoke about this, and we had said this. Cannabis is a sedative or a herb, and yo, like you just scared me right now. And we all spoke, Oguti, whenever you are using a sedative herb, you should be very cautious, especially if you are going to go through surgery. And I am going get all better.
Nkosi,
But I think that's why she was vocal about it. That's why she was vocal about
other
it.
thing that I just want to add is because I have this beautiful family of Ikhambi natural healing, what I did is I seeked advice from Nkosi Nelly, Nkosi Nelisiwe, and Dr. Lina. And I did exactly as I was told. I did not overdo it as I've been doing in the past. And I made sure my teas and mixtures were the right proportions, but I did the responsible thing and I told them, guys, this is what I'm taking and this is how I'm taking it and so much of it. And fortunately, I am here to tell the tale. So I hear
there is such a thing as like over sedation. Dr. Lina, on the last session where we spoke about sedative herbs, she did caution that there is such a thing as over sedation. So I would like to caution Nkosi and you know what, there is such a thing as over sedation. Please do not risky
Tokoza.
No.
Yeah, we can't overemphasize caution, Royals. We must be cautious, but I think that also if you're going to proceed as Gogo Ritabile has done, then do inform the medical personnel as well. Discuss that with them, particularly before you take the herb, so that they can discuss also with you whether it's conducive, bearing in mind the type of procedures that they will need to go through with you, or the type of prescription that they are most likely to give you.
Yes,
so, caution all the way.
This calls to mind the issue of education for the medical fraternity in general. As the herb is being legalized, as the herb is becoming available, whether in forms of oil, THC this, cannabinoids that, CBD oil that, somehow the medical fraternity, it's the same with the issue of the green diet, right? The vegetarian diet. The medical fraternity, the typical general GP, is not being brought up to date with the scholarship or with the research that is emerging, whether on cannabis or the other forms of nutrition, that as the world is opening up, as knowledge is increasing, I feel they are being left behind. So when Gogo Retabile takes a flask of cannabis tea to the hospital, 90% of the doctors, maybe 98%, have no idea of the properties in this 2-liter bottle. So for me, I think, Jay, it's a way, it's another avenue for us as part of the project that we're going to embark on. Excuse me, team, I'm going to say this. The re-education program of getting the doctors and teachers and our families up to date with what is going on with cannabis. What is cannabis? I just needed to point a little liche. And
I think it's good that we have doctors like your Dr. Lina, who not only just heal people, but they use natural healing practices. It's good, natural healing, herbs, and they actually understand. It then brings forth, it's not just your doctors who have your MB, I'm not sure of the exact acronyms, but also incorporating other doctors who use natural healing as part of their practice. It's good that we have such people and we are not completely starting from scratch as a community. I just wanted to add on to that.
Nkosi, may I just recognize a hand that has been raised?
Oh, apologies, Mkhulu.
Yes. Go ahead, Royal.
Oh.
Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. In terms of collaboration between the different medicines, it's going to take many, many years. I say this because we have tried it in SA One China inyanga zesintu. I'm not talking about myself as an Ayurvedic medical practitioner. I'm talking about China Abukoko. We're not aligned, and we still trying to find ourselves because Sibuya Impanden is different. And secondly, we need to start what we are starting now, this new revolution, with other healers to say, okay, Nyathelo, Impinda, this is what they do from a health perspective, other than in different uses. So the only way that we will be recognized as traditional medical practitioners is when we speak with one voice. It's easier in India, it's easier in Malaysia, it's easier in Asia to be aligned because they offer the course at varsity level, or you can go to a technical school, but that offers Ayurveda. So while the teaching happens in our homes, at political level, it's still a money-making thing. The more I keep you on medicine, the better for the pharmaceutical company, the better for the hospitals that are keeping you on the medicine. I think it was Gogo Menzi who asked, are doctors healers? And I said, no, they're not. That's Western medical doctors. They're not healers. They're script writers. As much as I write scripts for people to go to Discam and get herbs, but I write scripts for people to get the herbs that are going to heal them. So that is one thing that we need to understand and recognize, that this is bigger than us. There's pharmaceutical companies out there who are aligned. And if we are going to say we need to change the mindset, it needs to come from us. It has to be a bottom-up approach, not a top-bottom approach. So it has to be us saying, this is what I want. And it's not like they don't know. They know. Even the World Health Organization knows that Africans will always go to a traditional healer before they go to a Western doctor. So we need to be aligned. That's all I'm saying. Alignment, alignment, alignment.
Thokoza Gogo, there was a comment from Ugogo Manzebe about the neem tree. She wanted to actually know, it's a comment, it's actually a question more than it is a comment, where she wanted to know that since the neem tree can be used as oils, can other herbs also be utilized in that way? But I just want us to capture that question before we lose it, and then we go back to this topic, because I feel that Ukok Ritabil also wants to say something. Dr. Lina, what you've said actually makes a lot of sense, and it is true. And I've heard of people going to India to actually study, but we don't have such facilities in South Africa. So yes, the journey is one that needs to commence and one that needs to be done thoroughly. Gok Ritabila?
Can I answer the question by Gogo Mahlalele before we continue?
Okay.
So on our YouTube page, there is a session, I think it's session 2 of the basic herbs. That's where we discuss preparation methods. So we touched on infusions, this is as well as decoctions, and we touched on how to do oils, sun-infused oils, as well as double boiler oils. And we also touched on tinctures. In tinctures, we spoke on alcohol-based tinctures, vinegar-based tinctures, as well as glycerin-based tinctures. So for preparation methods, it would be worth your while to just go back to that video. It's uploaded on YouTube, just to remind ourselves how do we prepare oils as well as tinctures and other preparation methods. So
may I Goko, just before we go, Ritabile, may I just ask you just to hang on to that thought. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. I just want to give Gogo Mansebe Hlalele an opportunity. She did raise her hand, and I think she would want to. Gogo Mansebe?
Thank you, Mkhulu. So, Gogo Nelly, let me clarify my question. I was asking specifically in terms of the neem, not the general oils and so on, because yes, I have been to the site and I was in that session, so I'm aware of those, the general preparation methodology. What I was asking is, because the things that you're talking about, the neem tree, and we were talking about boiling and, you know, the different healing benefits of it. But what I wanted to know is whether can I use neem oil in oil format for all those things that you've mentioned that it does, as opposed to in water format. Will it do the same thing? Will it heal the same way if it's in oil format as opposed to water?
So, Gogo, you know what, ne? When you prepare it, ne, it depends on what you want to achieve, ne? For instance, if I am gonna be treating a dandruff, ne, oh no, dandruff is like a bad example. If I'm gonna be treating if I'm gonna be using it as an antibacterial or as an antifungal or as an anti-inflammatory. Let's say I'm treating a wound. I cannot use the oil first if I haven't cleaned the wound. So it's used as a disinfectant to almost clean the wound. So it depending on what you want to achieve, that will guide you in terms of which format the herb needs to be in. So if I'm going to be using it as a wash, let's say to treat body odor, and then I can't then use it as, well, some people, okay, like me, I wash with oil because I've got very dry skin. But for those who don't have dry skin and maybe they've got oily skin, they wouldn't want to use it as an oil, you know, to wash their body. So you can't then wash a wound with oil. I don't know if I'm making sense. And then if you're going to be using it, let's say to remove makeup at night, ideally you would want to use it as a tonic as opposed to as an oil. So what you want to achieve should be what guides you in terms of what the appropriate preparation method is. For instance, for the fungal, I don't know any other method other than the paste for treating the toe fungus. You probably could use it for the oil, but I can't say you can use the oil for treating the toenail fungus, because all that I know is that you use it as the paste, and all the data that I've read as well points to it being used as a paste. And for rejuvenation, it probably could work. I don't see how it couldn't work, although I've never tried it, but it could probably work as an oil. But ideally, it works much better as a paste for skin rejuvenation. If you're going to be using it on a daily basis, especially if you've got an oily skin type of problem. I wouldn't have a problem if I used this as an oil, if I was using it to rejuvenate skin, because I've got very dry skin. And I don't see how it wouldn't work for me if I used it as an oil. Does that answer your question, Gogo?
Yes, Gogo. I was just worried that maybe oil may weaken it. But from what you're saying, it's just a trial and error and what works best for you. But it doesn't weaken it. So that makes me happy, because then I can try it according to what's best for me, for skin, etc. Thank you, Gogo.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Gogo. We've got Dr. Lena. I have acknowledged your hand, Dr. Lena, but I just want to quickly let Gogo Tabile in to make a point, and then we can have Dr. Lena, if that's okay.
Thank you, Mkhulu. The Gogo that spoke before this question that was addressed actually took the words out of my mouth. Yes, we need to definitely, as a people and as healers, take responsibility and actually dictate to our health and well-being while we seek help from the Western medical fraternity. we do know that I mean, the pharmaceutical industry will not survive if we do not continue to you know, take to what a general practitioner, etc., is prescribing to. But we do know also that it is not that they do not know that what they are doing in terms of their jobs, it sometimes, or maybe 50% of the time, I don't know, it's of risk to our health instead of healing that we seek from them. And therefore, as a patient, we need to somehow dictate also to how we are treated, because the Western world does not deal with the root cause of an illness or a disease. The Western world will continue to treat a symptom. And if I do not tell my specialist or my GP of the research that I've done with my family at Ikhambi or as an individual, and dictate to how I'd like to go through this course of treatment, then we'll continue to take the antibiotics that literally kill your gut health, with the need to go and also purchase probiotics, etc. And we know diseases are a result of gut health issues. And therefore, what we eat, what we take in as herbs, what we take in as medicine will ultimately be the answer to having people living up to 150 years old or not, you know. And personally, I do dictate to my GP and my specialists, even though, I mean, we are forced to, at some point, to run to them. I don't want to do that. I keep on paying my medical aid because I know I need to balance the two. But ultimately, we need to move to a point where, as healers, we really tell the South African government and the medical fraternity, this is also something to consider, and it is actually best. Unfortunately, the likes of Dr. Sabi died too soon, and we need to be vocal as the likes of the Dr. Sabis. Thank you, Nkosi.
Thank you, Ritabile, for sharing. Dr. Lina, Mhleli is on mute. Dr. Lina?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I actually wanted to talk about neem oil. You're correct. And I also need to caution people. I use neem oil as an insect repellent because of the strength. It's very strong. And after I fumigate the greenhouse with neem oil, I realized I wanted to actually vomit. So it's a caution to people. Please, please, please. I mean, while you are educating us, people shouldn't take this as recommendation to go and do stuff on their own without consulting. So the side effects of neem oil include vomiting, they include diarrhea, drowsiness, seizures for some people, loss of consciousness for some people, which can actually cause people to get into a coma. So neem oil is very, very strong, and it's not for everyone. And again, in Asia, when they prescribe neem oil for asthma, it's always mixed with other herbs. It's not just neem oil on its own. So I just want to caution people, while you are learning, just know and talk to your health practitioner about these things. I think, Gogo Nelly, we were talking about mustard seed when I was saying not everybody can also use mustard seed. There's people who are highly allergic and they don't know, and it can cause death. It's the same with neem oil. So people
I remember, yes.
Yeah, people just need to be cautious. Yes, we are sharing, but we are not prescribing anything.
That is so true, Dr. Lina. So I forgot to actually mention the smell of neem. Neem smells horrible. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It smells horrible. It tastes horrible. Over and above what Dr. Lena has just cautioned us in terms of it's the side effects. I think this one is one of the most important side effects that people also need to be cautious of. Neem is used as part of contraceptives, and if you're gonna also be taking neem, you must be very sure about where you stand, because you cannot be taking neem when you're trying to get pregnant, because then it's gonna present fertility issues for you. And if you are pregnant, you shouldn't. Don't take neem. I wanted us to go back to the caution slides. Here, everything in moderation. I know some people have a tendency that I touched on this last week. Everything in moderation, and also if you're going to be taking neem, don't take it longer than 2 weeks without a proper consultation. Like, don't do that. It's in there with in the same category as Artemisia. Don't take it for longer than 2 weeks without having a proper consultation or without the guidance of your healer, because that may end up not working well or in your favor. Yeah. Are there any other additions or questions regarding the neem tree? Or any other herb that we spoke of a bit earlier when we were doing the recap of our medical cabinet?
Just the mint. What are the other uses of mint? What can you recap a little bit on the mint? I've got too much mint growing and I need to know more uses of it.
I think we said, I just want to go back to that slide, Mkhulu, where we spoke of mint. So the mint that we spoke of, I think we need to be very clear, because there's different types of mint, ne? So the mint that we spoke on was peppermint, and we had said that the uses is for clearing foul mouth. So you can use it as a mouthwash, and also to clear a bad odor. And you can also dilute it as a tincture. You must dilute it. What's this? You must dilute it, because it's quite. You don't want to take a mint tincture as is. You don't want to, so you have to dilute it. We said that. Wait, did I not write this down? So it can also be used as what's this? So if you've got a sore, or what's this? A sore, the oils. So you'd have to dilute the oils as well. So you can also use it to treat what's the sores as well. But you have to dilute the mint. It's all up in there in the same category as lemon balm. I'm not sure if it has to be diluted as well.
Are you telling me I'm putting myself in danger by just chewing it? I
no,
just usually just take the mint.
When you convert it into a tincture, then it becomes very potent.
Too strong. Okay, I understand.
It becomes very potent and it becomes too strong. So it's not something that you're gonna want to apply directly on your skin. It will be very harsh on you, and you
I overstand.
must not. It will not end well. That's all I can tell you. That it's not going.
That's all.
Okay. Are there any other additional comments or questions?
No, it's just on peppermint. I think if people want to know if a herb is good for them or not, when you pick a few leaves of the herb, rubbing it, put it in your hand, close up and smell. If it does not feel good, it's not right for you.
Thank
doesn't feel good, it's not right for you. So that's how you test. Don't test by going to boil it and drinking it, and then suddenly you have the side effects. So if you are, what can I say? If you are lucky enough to have the fresh herbs in your garden, the first thing that you do is pick a few leaves, rub them with your thumb and your forefinger, put it in your hand, smell it. If you get a dizzy spell, if you want to vomit, then you know that's not for you. Don't use it.
So would it apply to all the herbs
All
or
the
most herbs?
as long as they're fresh and you want to try it. If it's, for instance, I plant celery, but walking into the greenhouse, celery gives me a headache.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
because I planted, people want it. So I'm not in the greenhouse for longer than 5 minutes because I know I'm getting dizzy spells, I'm getting a headache. So with any other person, let me say, if you are lucky enough to have the fresh herbs, do that test. Same with dania. I can't stand dania, but I plant dania because I use it. What is dania? Cilantro. Not everybody can eat cilantro. Not everybody can drink cilantro. So always do a test. If it doesn't feel good, it's not for you. It doesn't mean because it's a herb, it's safe. No. Remember, these are active ingredients, and it is highly potent when it's still fresh. So you need to test it, just rub it, smell it. If you don't feel good, if you can't take it, don't go and drink it and say, it was just a dizzy spell and that's it. And again, do it in moderation. Anything that you're going to do. Peppermint, in Ayurveda, we use it for calming babies and older people down. Let's say you just had bad news and you're not okay. We put a few leaves for those who can take it. Make it into a tea and they drink, and it has a calming effect. We use it for flatulence. We use it for menstrual pain. We use it for diarrhea. And for some people, we use it for nausea and depression. But this is depression related to anxiety, not just any depression. Remember, there's different types of depression. And then we also use it for muscle and nerve pain. So we always ask, are you allergic to something? And if you don't know, we do a very simple test to see if you'll be able to take this or stomach this.
And would it be correct if I said that if you know the family of the trees, if you're allergic to the family of the tree, one of the members in the family of the tree, then you must use it with caution, because that's the stance that I've always taken. So with mint, it's related to rosemary. If you are allergic to rosemary, then it therefore means that you must approach mint with caution, because already you're allergic to a family member of mint.
Yes, you must be very cautious. And then the alternative is to say, if it's fresh, don't use it, hydrate it, give it a few days, because the composition now changes, and then try it out again.
Okay, it makes sense. So I just wanted to add, while Dr. Dina was touching on allergic reactions, I wanted to share something in relations to this, to our good friend here. This friend of mine is although he's very good in terms of treatment of stuff, but I can tell you this: if I walk into your yard and you have this baby in your yard, especially if it's a lot, I will develop hives, and it's not pretty. My whole face swells up. So what Dr. Lina is talking about, it's a real thing, you know. If it doesn't treat you well, I haven't even touched it, but already I'm getting a reaction. So if it doesn't treat you well, it's best you stay clear of it. Lavender is a good plant. It chases bad spirits away, evil spirits away. We're going to touch on that when we speak on the spiritual aspects of hygiene. But for some people, it may not just be a good idea. So yeah, I just wanted to add on that while we're still on the side effects, because I haven't seen any side effects on the text that relates to how I've reacted. I've seen that it slows down the central nervous system and all this other stuff. But for me, if I walk into a yard and there's a lot of lavender, I will develop hives and my face will swell up. Do we have, oh, okay. Gogori Tabile, I think we can just type, so Gogori Tabile wanted to type the method for testing the herbs. I think we can share that on the group and on the WhatsApp page for the benefit of everybody. Kulumenzi, just please remind, just let us make a note to remember to do that in terms of how do we test whether a herb is will work for you or not. Yeah, it's one of the, it's probably, yeah, just as a minor one.
Okay.
Do we have any additions or questions before we, oh, I wanted to mention something that was written by one of by Ashantewa Ngiti. She says the neem tree also grows all over the Caribbean. Thank you so much for sharing that. I almost forgot to mention what she mentioned. So thank you so much for sharing that information. Do we have any additional questions before we move on?
Just a comment, a question on Facebook, but I think you've already covered this. Timikane Gomez asks, how can one make the mint paste for the treatment of leg fungus? I just wanted to capture the question because all questions are important to us. Over to you, Gok.
So I will try and can we make a note on that? Okay. So I don't know what's going on, but you froze there for a bit. Is everybody still hearing me? I'm not sure whether the problem is on my side.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I'd like to suggest, not because I want to park the question deliberately, but I think we can respond maybe on the WhatsApp group.
That's what
because I was just meditating with myself here as the session is going. Some things that we sound like we are giving prescriptions, but we are giving recommendations. Remember our disclaimer and our pledge. I'm going to change just one word in the pledge, the word prescription. It is very much highly related to the GPs and, you know, the medical fraternity like that. So we are not giving prescriptions here. We are giving just recommendations for the herbs that are intrinsically have healing properties. We know that they have healing properties, but a prescription would be something that you'll have to do one-on-one with the particular healer.
Thank you so much for that, Kulumenzi. So I will try and share the method of how you can prepare a paste on the WhatsApp as well as on the Facebook page. You have to just check it out there, and then I'll try and post it as soon as possible. So yeah, just to steer off in terms of, we've always mentioned, just to add on what Mkhulumenzi just said right now, we've always mentioned that our knowledge, we are here to teach one another. However, in our process of teaching one another, we are not here to replace ogogo nabamkhulu who practice endumbeni. We are also not here to replace your doctors like your Dr. Lena's. We are not here for that. We're here to educate one another in terms of when we use these herbs, these are the things that you need to be aware of or you need to be cautious of. Don't take something simply because it works for Unel. It might not turn out well for you, and don't take something that you are not aware of what it does. It's always good to make decisions from a place of being informed. That's just a precaution that I wanna add. Our herbs, it being safe, hence we always disclose the cautions or the side effects of a herb so that you make your decision from a place of being informed. I think we can move on if there are no further questions.
May I, Gogo, just remind everybody to please follow us on Instagram, Ikhambi_natural_heal and Ikhambi_natural_healing. That is on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook, Ikhambi Natural Healing, as well as on YouTube, Ikhambi Natural Healing. You may continue, Gogo.
Okay. So Mkhulu, can you please, for the benefit of those who may have joined late, I'm going to ask you to break down the symbology. However, I'm cautious of time, so if we can just try to recap quickly on the symbology used and how it relates to the hygiene, and then we can then proceed on to, what's this? Oh gosh. And then we can then proceed on to what to expect for the next session. And then it's the medical disclaimer again, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Thokozani futhi Nkosi, sesihlangene futhi. You see in front of you, of your screens, a green tree. A green tree obviously being above the ground, representing as above. And you see its root as being underground, representing as so below. As above, so below, the injunction by Jehuti. And you will see the pyramid representing the connection. It is the connector. It is also the power generator. And we see the sun, which is the rejuvenator. And that comprises the logo of Ikhambi Natural Healing or I.N.Healing. Jehuti represents the keeper of ancient knowledge, the past and the present. He who does not know has the opportunity to know. We see Ma'at, Indlovukazi yobulungiswa. She balances the scales. She brings order and justice. And this is the hygiene series. Today we'll be doing personal hygiene. As I said before, please do follow us on Instagram, Ikhambi_natural_healing, and on Facebook, Ikhambi Natural Healing, and on YouTube, Ikhambi Natural Healing. And we have the chakras Umbilini. We have Umbilini, and our ancestors in Kemet call that Arit, the Arits.
Which is the next session.
Which is the next session, and that section will take place on the 20th of Umandulo, Lwezi, September 2020 at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, certain portions of that section will be pre-recorded due to the contributors not being available during that time. Thokozani Nkosi.
Thokozani.
The medical disclaimer.
The medical disclaimer, once more, information is for educational and informational purposes only and may not be construed as medical advice. The information is not intended to replace medical advice. And it is not intended to replace medical treatment offered by healthcare professionals either. And that marks the end of our session today. Thank you so much, Nkosi, for being in attendance. We appreciate your contributions. Dr. Lina, thank you so much. Siswele umlomo ukubonga. Thank you so much, Dr. Lina. Thank you, Goku Tabile. Thank you, Goku Manzibe. Thank you to all the contributors, all the persons who asked questions today. We truly appreciate all contributions. Just like I said, we are all on this journey of learning together. So we also see ourselves as students in this journey, and therefore your contributions as well are just as important. So please do not hesitate to contribute. Ask those questions. If we don't know, we will find out together, but let's learn all together. Asihambisane kulolu hambo sibambane ngezandla ukuze silithole lolu lwazi sigeqa amagula. It is time. Dr. Lina also said so, that it is time that we start working together and work vigorously to try and make sure that the knowledge about natural healing comes to the fore, and that we also, as Menzi was saying, embark on a process of educating Western medical practitioners as well about indigenous medicines, indigenous herbs, and we will also be in a position to actually heal, not just to provide a script. We need to move beyond that point, because our intention is to actually reach our people to heal them. Gogo Nkosi, let me hand over to you.
Thank you so much for joining today's session. It was very informative. Just to remember, this is our session. We're here to educate one another. I put the data together based on what people have contributed throughout the course of the week. And you know what, I learn from you a lot, and thank you so much for your contribution. We are here to make sure that our community progresses in the correct direction. Thokozani Makosi, until next week.
Thokoza Makosi. Mkhulu Menzi.
Ethep ukuthula makwande ebantwini. Ubuntu ebantwini.
Ubuntu ebantwini. Thokozani Makosi. Cha, asihlanganeni futhi Makosi ngesonto elizayo. La sobe sigeqa khona amagula. It will be a pre-recorded session, as Ugogo has indicated. But thank you so much. Please do follow us again on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and follow us on YouTube. And Magwande, have a splendid week, Makosi.
We will be sharing the invite for those who want to participate in the pre-recorded session soon. But the pre-recording will happen during the week, so we will be sharing the invite.
Thokozani Makosi.
Chokoza.